Hey, how's it going, everybody? So today we have another interview with Naoki Hamaguchi, this time with Game Brave. And in this interview, he discusses his 10-year development as director of the Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy. I specifically wanted to check out this one section of the article that talks about minigames, and I wanted your guys' opinion on Hamaguchi's thoughts. So let's jump in and check that out real quick. Right here. Maintaining rhythm through minigames. Rebirth's extensive selection of minigames has been a frequent topic of discussion, so we asked how Hamaguchi-san views their role within the overall experience. He was quick to frame the issue as an industry-wide rather than something unique to Rebirth. So that's not a unique problem for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth only. He said a lot of games aside from the main theme and main story progression also have the side games and mini games built into them, end quote. According to Hamaguchi-san, pacing was the key concern. So when you're playing the game and you're going through the main story progression as well as the intended game design, you tend to fall into this trap of having the same tempo. So you tend to get bored playing it. To counter that, the team deliberately introduced variety. So to sort of combat this and keep that fresh feeling of going through the game, that's why we introduced these mini games, to sort of add a diversity of experience as you're playing the game to keep up a good rhythm, as to say. He acknowledged that not all players respond the same way, so we understand when you introduce these different facets into the game, some people would play it and really enjoy it, but some people rather just get on with the main story. Still, he emphasized that this balance was carefully considered, so it's sort of like a calculated move on our part to include all of these different facets of the game. Hamaguchi-san also pointed to legacy as a guiding factor. So the original Final Fantasy VII had lots of minigames, and it was very famous for that. Preserving that diversity felt essential when approaching the remake. Cool. It seems like Naoki Hamaguchi is basically saying we wanted to present a game to the fans where it's not just all about the story. There are side quests, there are other things you can do to kind of offload from how heavy the main story is, and I appreciate that. I agree. I feel like games should have some goofy moments or some mini game, something else to kind of let you de-stress, de-bloat from the main story. Now, I know a lot of people on the internet and stuff said that, hey, this game, Final Fantasy Rebirth specifically, has a lot of mini games and a lot of bloat. There's so many extra things you have to do to get certain items and certain weapons that it almost becomes priority, it just, oh, I have to do this so that I can get this, so I should just do this. And I kind of understand that, because as someone who also likes to come back and play the mini games or collect the rare items and stuff, I do think that it is important to have those as side quests or optional quests. But I understand that in Rebirth there were some mini games that you had to complete to either go to the next part or just to complete that chapter. Specifically Costa del Sol. Costa del Sol had a shit ton of mini games, and it was not too bad. I was not really interested in them, so I just kind of breezed through them. I haven't done my second replay of Rebirth yet. I think that's where I'm going to be playing a lot of the mini games and really going into it. I know Queen's Blood is a big mini game in Rebirth that a lot of people like to play. There was a lot of people's favorites. I didn't really care for it because my main thing when I first played through the game was I want to do the story. I want to beat the story. So I have not much to say about the mini games, except I did experience them while I was playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I was like, okay, I'll put this to the side. I'll play this later. I'll come back for this. And then I never did, because there's just like some people said, there's just so many mini games. I didn't know where to begin. I didn't know where to end, and I felt really overwhelmed, because in between the mini games I was also looking for the summonings, and that was a whole thing where you had to complete a map and you know, interacting with Chadley and completing the map and then going and finding the summoning. That was a whole thing, so I didn't really enjoy that too much either, because by the time I got, I think, like, Bahamut, I was burnt out from, like, discovering everything on the map. You know, that's not something I necessarily had to do, but I like to have all the summonings before I enter a fight, so I took my time doing that. And that also included playing some mini games, like, while you're looking for some of the summonings. So I did feel like, hey, this game does have a lot of, like, other things you can do. Now, that doesn't mean that it was like a bad game or a good game. I don't think the number of mini games or, like, the volume of mini games, good or bad, make a game good or bad. I think that has to do with music, story, like, kind of gameplay. Everything has to be included to make a game good or bad. You have to kind of, like, rate it all together. So in that sense, I think Rebirth's minigames, since not all the minigames impacted the story, I feel like some of them did, and the ones that did, I feel like did a really good job kind of providing, like, extra context to things. Like I said, I don't know, and I can't really give, like, a full-fledged picture of what I think is in this, just because I haven't played Rebirth since it came out last year, and I didn't do a lot of the mini games when I did play it, so I'll have to do another replay. But that doesn't matter. I want to know what you guys think, so let me know down in the comments below. Do you think Rebirth had too many mini games? Do you think it had too little mini games? Do you think it's, like, the quality of the mini game, or do you think no, it just, games need mini games so that the pacing is better? Let me know down in the comments below. I know a lot of people liked the Fort Condor minigame, a lot of people liked the Queen's Blood minigame. Those two were also my favorite minigames. Yeah, so let me know down in the comments below what you think, and yeah, I will catch you guys later. Peace out.